The sun and unequal solar insolation on the surface drives the entire climate system, but the sun alone doesn't make all of this work. The Earth also has a kind of blanket of molecules that trap some of the sun's heat, and without it, all that solar insolation would hit the Earth and then head right back into space. This blanket is the greenhouse effect, and it's what makes our planet livable. Without it, Earth's temperatures would swing widely, more like Mars or the Moon, with freezing cold nights and warm to blazing hot days. The greenhouse effect gets its name from, well, greenhouses. Greenhouses are great places to grow plants all year long because they trap the sun's heat. The transparent glass or plastic of a greenhouse's roof lets in sunlight, warming the air and the plants and everything inside. But when that heat energy tries to leave the greenhouse, a lot of it is reflected back inside. The greenhouse gases in the atmosphere do basically the same thing. Incoming solar radiation, heat energy from the sun, heads toward the Earth. A lot of this energy is absorbed by the ground, water, trees, warming everything up. Some of it's reflected by the atmosphere and clouds or other objects at the surface with high albedo or reflectiveness like glaciers and heads back out into space. Where things really start to warm up and greenhouse gases get involved is when an object, like a road or a lake, absorbs all that heat from the sun and it starts to give off heat of its own, which is why walking across pavement without shoes on can be a painful experience in the summer. Compared to the energy from the sun, that re-emitted heat has a longer wavelength in the infrared of the light spectrum. And when any of that infrared re-emitted energy hits a greenhouse gas molecule, that molecule is able to absorb that energy and re-radiate it, warming the atmosphere. Like a real greenhouse's windows, greenhouse gases are like a big blanket or jacket, wrapping the Earth, keeping heat trapped inside. The greenhouse gas molecules in the atmosphere play a critical role in regulating the temperature of our planet, keeping things fairly stable without massive temperature shifts between scorching days and frigid nights. But it's a balanced system. Too few greenhouse gases in the atmosphere and things start to get a bit chilly. And when we add additional greenhouse gases, we're making the planet warmer. Climate change happens when the balance of greenhouse gases is thrown out of whack, which means if we and the rest of the organisms on the planet want to live as we do now, then we should be concerned about the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Just to make this crystal clear, the higher the concentration of greenhouse gases there are in the atmosphere, the more heat will be trapped and the greater the overall global temperature.